because a lot of people will take that number and project that as a quota. Why would they do it? It's a quota, but they never meet it. None of the companies ever meet it.
What's the purpose in setting that goal on the basis of race or gender in the first place, Mark?
Mark Cuban is really too smart to be this stupid. In this video, he's going to be talking to Vivek Ramaswamy on DEI, and his definition of it is not even the definition of DEI. This is a weird circular conversation where we're not really coming to the same page because you're promoting an ideology that the left pushes that you don't even agree based off what you're saying. It's interesting watching Vivek have to explain step by step what DEI is and why it's not good. Before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to RT News to ensure to YouTube that you are enjoying our videos, and so they'll continually show up in your feed. And then by doing that, they'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
We had an exchange. All right. So let me give you, without using the word DEI, because it's just so tired.
You can use DEI. That's fine.
I don't like using it because it causes, especially for somebody I might disagree with.
I like using it. I got no problem with it, even though it pisses people off. That's what makes it more fun.
well, let's use DEI then. Fine. So let's say in the name of DEI, right? Pfizer. Okay. This is an example I gave you. We started talking about it. Pfizer sets a target. You can call it a quota, call it a target. Because
not a quota.
Pfizer sets a target, but it is a very precise numerical target. Now, and this is not picking on one company.
Well, it's percentage. It was a percentage, right?
Yeah, they're in an industry that I know well, but this is representative.
And I know that industry well too.
Yeah. Right. So it's an industry we both know well, so we're picking this example, but this is not unique to Pfizer Healthcare. It's true across every other industry.
IBM has done it. Others have done it.
Right. Something to the effect of, and people can look up the exact what it is, but the punchline is 32%. Or so was the number for minorities in certain corporate vice president levels or above. I get it approximately right. Look up exactly what the details, but suppose it's 32% in vice president level corporate executives or above by a certain year in the future. That's a corporate target that they have set. It's my belief, right, that these types of demographic goals, if that's your basis for setting a target, that is incompatible with pure meritocracy. Where
absolutely not.
Yeah, and that's why I know.
Absolutely. If you have demographic goals based off the color of people's skin, based off the gender that they inhabit, that is by any choice of their own, you are born the way that you are born. That's a problem. It should be based off merit, based off your ability to do the job and do it well and do it the way that it's wanted to be done, not based off how you look. That should not be a determining factor on why you do or do not get a job. And there certainly should be no legal quota or business quota, like you must do this or a target or whatever they were saying. It's stupid. It's so stupid. It takes away any sort of like a feelings of accomplishment as an individual. Like if I get this job over somebody else, over all these other people, this prestigious job that I've wanted for so long and so many other people are trying to get, and then I finally get it. I'm so excited. I worked hard. I'm proud of myself. And then I find out that I only got it because of this. That would piss me off. That would bring self-doubt. That would make me be like, oh, I'm not good enough. I just got it because of something that I had no control over. That's not fair either. It's not, and then that will cause resentment in other people because maybe someone else deserved it more than I did. It's ridiculous. But let's see what Mark Cuban has to say.
You disagree, right? So give me your view.
Sure. So targets are one thing, right? They're not a quota. If it was a quota, you would be able to, let me take a step back. There are these things called EEOC reports, right?
Where Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, that's what it is,
Right, where they actually have to disclose the numbers for those vice president positions by male, female, white, black, Asian, other races, and biracial, right? And so they have to disclose them, and not all companies do. They have to report it. They don't have to disclose. Not all companies do, but Pfizer does. And when you go and actually look at the numbers on the EEOC report, they're nowhere close to those targets. And in fact, in some years, they actually reduced the number of people you would think would benefit from DEI, right? Based off of the traditional DEI views.
And that's
Black
accurate.
Americans,
what you just said is accurate. It's fact.
Right.
So why bother to specify that target or goal in the first place? Because your point is they're not even meeting it. And you're right about that in many companies.
When you say they're not meeting it, that's just confirmation that it's not a quota. Because a lot of people will take that number and project that as a quota. Why would they do it? It's a quota, but they never meet it. None of the companies ever meet it.
What's the purpose in setting that goal on the basis of race or gender in the first place, Mark?
When you talk about portfolio management in your company, right? and you talked about you're going to have failures and you're going to have successes, and you probably had a target for your return on equity that you wanted to get, right? And so you said, I've raised this money, I'm investing this money, we're going to have hits and misses, and our target return is 23%. Same thing, right? Good companies look at their employees as capital, right? As intellectual capital. And where you want to have a better portfolio outcome for your intellectual capital, there's certain things that you want to see happen. One of them is diversity. And now when I talk about diversity, and I've put this up on Twitter, that means going out there and just like you look for the best ARBs across all bio companies, right? You didn't care where they were located, looking for the best employee, the most capable employee means turning over rocks where other people don't look. And you probably found some of your best deals by looking where others don't look. And I found some of my best employees by looking where others don't look.
Why denominate? I agree with you so far, but why denominate it based on race? Why take this top-down category that and I'll tell you why it gets under my skin is, I think it causes us to be more divided when we see each other on the basis of our.
If looking places where others don't look to find good talent, finding good quality workers, maybe that people that have different skills that are not traditionally looked at or seen or something, whatever he was trying to say there, that's fine. There's nothing, I have no issue with that either. That's not the problem. The fact is, if you looked for people with the intent to find them or hire them solely based off the color of their skin, solely based off their gender, like, oh, we need enough women that we hired enough women this month, so we're going to make sure that we hire 5 women because we really struggled last month. We got all men, or we hired too many white guys last month. We need to hire an Indian male. Like whatever the reason may be, that's where the problem lies. It doesn't matter if you go, okay, let's say you go to the inner city and you find like all these black people that have these amazing skills that are going to help your business, and it's like they just all happen to be black. Or maybe there's a couple white people in the inner city. It doesn't matter. That's fine. In different places where people have certain skills that around what it is you want to do with your business. No one has an issue with that. But like you try when it has to be based solely off of skin color, and you have to create, and then it's enforced on you to make sure that you hit these targets. It have nothing to do with the meritocracy, as he keeps saying, and have everything to do with attributes about an individual that they can't even control, that they can't help. They win or lose solely based off something that they can't do anything about it. They can't help it. As opposed to people that worked really hard their whole life to be able to attain the job that you're offering. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. Okay, so let's go to your point, right? Yeah. Let's go to your question. Let's just say I'm looking at a drug company, Roivant. How did you pronounce your company name?
Roivant was my first company.
Yeah. Roivant, right. So I have Roivant. And I recognize that for cancer drugs, they're all ignoring them. Everybody's ignoring cancer. So I'm going to set a target for cancer drugs because I know everybody else isn't looking there. Yeah. They're missing it. And so I'm going to go where these cancer drugs are being made, where they're not making enough an investment in them. And I'm going to go to focus, not necessarily focus there, but I'm going to extend my ARB reach and my look to include those cancer drugs from companies I think don't do a good job of figuring out the value in that drug. That is what D in diversity is. It's saying, look, there's a lot of women, black, Asian, whatever it may be, people that I think are not being recruited. That there are a lot of people who may not have the best test scores from the best school, but they may have a lot of soft skills from their experiences. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to find.
What's the E?
Okay, let me finish this point, right?
Yep. We'll play forward.
So I'll get to the E, right? I'm going to go and find the best possible candidates that I can. And they're going to compete with everybody else. Just like when you at Roivant, you compete with your cancer drugs, have to compete in potential return for the non-cancer drugs, right? And so in my diversity, when I go out and I look at this, I'm going to say this person, this woman, African-American woman who was from this small school that I've never recruited at, she's brilliant. And when I compare her to other people that I might hire, she's better. Now, this other person, African-American, another small school I typically don't recruit at, they may not be good enough. I'm not going to hire them just because they're black from a small school that nobody else recruited at. They have to qualify. So then when I hired this African-American woman from this small school, because she has amazing soft skills, maybe not the best test scores, that's where equity comes in, right? Equity means putting people in a position to succeed, giving them the tools that they need. So she might have soft skills that I invested in this company called Scoutable, right? Scoutable.com. And all they do is they have people play these games. And when you play the game, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people have played the game, it helps you to, it does, based off the results in the past you take, they'll compare them to other successful people in other vertical areas, right? Programming, bio, and they'll look for similarities. They'll do a statistical analysis and they'll say, look, this person who we found in the middle of nowhere doesn't have a computer science degree, but the soft skills that they have matches up perfectly to our best programmers. Okay. So we're going to take a chance on that person. And the equity is, the E in equity says, we're going to give them extra computer training, because we know based off of the data that we're using, they're very capable in ways other people aren't going to find, the diversity, and we're going to give them the tools to put them in a position to succeed. Whether or not they will succeed is up to the ability of—
That's not equity. So you're just giving everyone an equal opportunity. Maybe someone doesn't have a degree in this, or they don't have the studies or whatever that are normally required for that position, but you see they have the skills that they need in order to be able to fulfill the position in the way that you want them to do. And so you think that maybe their potential with what they already know, having not been in that education system that someone else may have been in, their potential surpasses what you think this other person is. So you're like, I'm willing to invest in them because I think they're going to surpass what this person would have even been capable of. You're just giving them the same opportunity that you would have given the person that's a little more educated, maybe in that field, but you just think that they're going to be better at it. That's not equity. That's equal opportunity. Equity is equal outcomes, meaning you're going to hire someone who might not even be as qualified as the other person. And it's not the same. Equity, equal outcomes, and the outcome becoming equal based off the DEI structure that has actually been pushed by the left is not actually conducive to a fruitful society. And it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's like with affirmative action. You can't just like give someone not qualified a position, and then when they fail, blame it on racism. Like, no, they weren't qualified and they weren't capable, and someone else was, and you stole that from them. Oh man, it's anyways, go ahead, Mark.
Of us to train that person and up to their ability to live up to what we expect of them. If they don't, they'll get a chance or two like every other employee. They'll get, a report from HR saying, here's what you got to do if you're not doing well. And you still have to compete and you still have to do well. So that's the E.
Here's my own just view on, get into the best answers on anything, right? You got to try on the other side like a set of clothes, trying the best argument for the other side like a set of clothes. And if it fits, you keep it. And if it doesn't, you put it back on the rack.
You iterate. Yeah, you iterate. So right. Always iterate.
I appreciate a lot of, what you laid out. I think it's an interesting perspective. I'm doing my best to try it on. I'll tell you why for me it feels like it doesn't fit. Okay.
Sure.
Is when I look at the results. Now here's where you can measure the results. I'll give you a couple examples. So give you a couple examples in response. One is one of the areas where you look at results of whether you believe you actually have a true meritocracy or not, where you could actually get the actual numbers to do this, is when you apply that same philosophy to the level of universities. So I know you're talking about it from the level of
two different worlds. Okay. Two different worlds.
All right, so you do have different views then. You do have different views.
Oh yeah. Look, I think I've said this online too. If you think about the
number of kids who are like Asian kids who can't get into a university because they got a 1600 on their SAT.
Two different worlds.
Good at sports, good at musical instruments, and can't get to the end of their safety school. That is a direct product of a lot of the targets, even not hard quotas, but soft targets that these universities have set.
Academics are different because the goal is different.
All right, so we're on the same page. So we're already on the same page there. All right, so universities.
So you're agreeing with me that DEI. So first of all, let's make sure we're on the same page. You're agreeing with me that DEI is good for business.
No, I'm not agreeing with you there. I'm not agreeing with you.
I didn't hear any.
Well, because I was going to go to the universities, but it sounds like we agree on the universities. But let me.
Look, if it were up to me, universities have too much overhead.
So I think here's what I would say is on your definition of DEI and the way you define it, which I believe is quite different and far more sympathetic, to me at least, than the accounts that you might hear from other proponents of capital D, capital E, capital I. But on your telling of it, my pushback would not be that I disagree with a lot of what you said, but that it then makes DEI redundant. Okay, because if you're running a business, well, let's just go back to that sole metric that you evaluated in the first place, which is maximizing your return on equity. If that's your actual metric that matters, there are a million different targets that need to roll up into that.
Of course. And they're not mutually exclusive.
And of course, and it's different for different companies, right? So my view is it's got to fall out of the mission. It's got to be mission driven by the company. So every
Of
company.
course it is.
Yeah. So
Of course it is,
If I
though.
may, right?
So, and when you go ahead.
Yeah, just to make sure we get the view on the table, because it's not the classical disagreement. It's just a slightly different type of disagreement. So let's say your company has a mission. Okay. I'll give you a good example. Actually, this will be very personal to me. Let's say your mission is that you're a steakhouse. Okay, and you want to serve your steakhouse chain, and you want to serve good, high-quality steak to your customers. Like any business, you're going to need different types of diversity to make your business successful. There are certain types of diversity you want, certain types of diversity you don't want. The kinds of diversity you might want people who are good wait staff, you might want people who are good at the cash register, you might have good managers, a good chef, okay. Even the kind of diversity you want, I would add a lot of diversity to the ranks of a steakhouse. I'll tell you why. Because I'm a vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian on principle. It's a part of my religious upbringing, but it's
I'm pescatarian.
Right. So I don't believe in animals for culinary pleasure. It just happens to be
lame.
A family belief of mine, and that I've raised in and that I raise my kids in as well. I respect the right of the steakhouse to go pursue its own mission. I don't think the government should be stopping them from doing it. But even though I would add diversity to the ranks of the steakhouse, I don't think that would necessarily make them better because it doesn't align with their mission. So every business has to ask itself what kind of diversity.
Wait. So you're saying because you're vegetarian, how would they add you to the? How would you want?
I would add diversity. So my point is, I would add
diversity where?
Intellectual diversity of thought to a steakhouse, right? But I wouldn't be a good employee because I'm not aligned with the mission.
Come on, Vivek. Come on, Vivek.
No, come on. The point I'm making is
diversity.
This. Different types of businesses need different types of diversity. That's the whole thing.
Of course.
So how could it be that every business sets the same quota or same target based on race or gender, when in fact every business should say we need this type of diversity, people who have experience in the humanities or math.
They do.
And they already do by focusing on return on equity instead of focusing on actual capital D diversity.
They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand because that CEO, if they can't hit their equity goals, right, their ROE goals, they're getting fired. Right, they're gone.
So that's what it comes down to, the ROE goals, the return on equity goal, which means there's a million factors you got to cover. Why do you want one blanket category of diversity?
It's not one blanket strategy. But no CEO would have a clue.
Because it's
it doesn't.
It's the same.
You're hoping
race
it
and
does.
Gender. Race and gender is what it always comes down to, or sexuality now too. When people are talking about diversity, so I'll give you a good example, Mark.
All right, yeah, Vivek. I don't think Mark Cuban knows what DEI is, because he was coming from a position that most people don't even take with DEI. DEI is literally about gender and race. Literally what it's about. Picking people that aren't white, that aren't straight white males. That's literally there's too many of them. We need to get more black people, more Indian people, more women, more women of color, more trans women of color. We got to represent them as well. That is the whole purpose of it. Like we're not playing the way he was expressing it was a lot more reasonable. But even then, he was like Vivek said, it's redundant. What is even the reason to make this? It's stupid. It's ridiculous. This is from a few months ago, but it still holds true today because some people believe this way. And I don't think Mark Cuban has, like I said, a full grasp on what DEI is. And if he did, he probably wouldn't even be rocking with it. But then again, he supported Kamala Harris, so yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below. I want to know what you guys are thinking, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.